As I become more of a feminist, I see sexism in so many things. How do you balance that?
I find it very hard to turn off my brain,
Yeah.
like my critical analysis of everything that I'm consuming, and so it makes it difficult to sort of enjoy some things.
Can't watch TV no more.
I can't listen to music. I can't watch TV without it being like something, you know.
Yeah.
Like before, it was just like black. Like it was just be upset about everything.
But so
That's
hip-hop was cool,
racist,
yeah.
right? And then like you open up and it's like, oh, there's sexism, oh, there's homophobia, and there's transphobia, and all of these different things. Mm-hmm. You're recognizing the limitations of your cultural influences. Mm-hmm. We cannot deny ourselves joy, right? Like I think any movement that's going to deny people joy is not one that's
not
worth
worth
joining.
Yes.
But also we have to be critical about how we're deriving that joy. Yeah. For you, like coming out of the sports world, like how has that affected your relationship?
I can't talk to any of my football friends about feminism, sexism, patriarchy, any of that, because they're like, come on, man, just chill out. In spaces and conversations with all men, right, the conversations are so loaded with sexism. I mean, like, it's impossible. Sexism is probably the first form of repression that you learn, because you learn it in the home. You see your mother and father engage, and you see a certain hierarchy that just happens. You typically have to go outside of the home to experience racism. That was something that I was like, damn, like, I didn't realize that I've been sexist since I was 3. You know what I mean? You know, I think it's trying to separate the fact that football is a game, but people bring their sexist ways to this actual game itself. And I know that's still not clean, but football is not something that I could honestly ever give up, because it's like breathing.
We start to understand racism at some point in our life, but the interrogation of sexism, even though it's the first thing that you're learning,
much later.
If it happens at all for some people, right? Like if it happens at all, we really are beholden to a sort of a sexist operating system in terms of like a racial justice lens, right? So it's fascinating to think like, yes, that is the first thing that we do learn, and we carry that with us, and we don't ever have to ask a question about it because we are an oppressed group ourselves. It's easy to see who is on your neck. It's harder to recognize whose neck your boot is on, and we don't ever consider that.
You typically learn about slavery through the male lens, like how hard it was for black men, right? And I remember reading my first Bell Hooks book, From Margin to Center, when she like really highlighted what women had to go through, that women got beat and had to work in the field and were raped. You know, and had to have a baby, and had to have that baby on their back while they're actually doing it. And for me, I was like, damn, like, how do I keep missing all of these things?
Well, because when we're taught about this oppression, like we're taught about like the rape of black women during slavery, it's still seen through the effect that it has on men.
What was the most powerful book that you read as far as like understanding of feminism?
Sister Outsider, Audre Lorde. Those essays just blew my mind. That really was the understanding of what intersectional means, right? Like I think having heard the word before that was like, oh yes, we have to identify all of these people living.
It's a nice word.
Right, but Audre Lorde was like, oh no, this is what it actually looks like.
Do you think that your mother would identify as a feminist? Because mine would not.
No.
Isn't that interesting?
She would not. See, my mother is like the kind of the prototypical strong black woman, like you would think would qualify her for a feminist.
But she's probably real.
But they're like very traditional in terms of her understanding of just sort of men and women dynamics.
One day I asked my mom, I was like, can you imagine God as a woman? Because my mom is hyper religious. And she was like, hell no. And then I was like, let me ask you a question. I was like, is God loving? She was like, yes. I said, is God compassionate? She was like, yes. I said, is God sensitive? She said, yes. I said, that doesn't sound like a woman. But even that is sexist. Even when I'm trying to be like this really beautiful feminist and all these things, I can still be just as sexist as anyone else. I think it's fascinating, man.
Yeah.